Welcome to Home and Away, a Tottenham Hotspur podcast hosted by myself, Graham Spice, and Glenn Cowie, where we talk about all things Tottenham Hotspur from both the match attending and international supporters' view. Glenn, are you good?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Talking about international supporters' view, I could have done without the 5 a.m. kickoff for the Super Cup final, but there was no way I wasn't watching that live. But I was actually away in Sydney, as we've been messaging. So I met up with some colleagues and we'd had a few beers, and then one of them said, "Should we go for a curry?" And I'm like, no, I'm going to bed. Like, I'm going up. I'm not missing that for game.
It'd have been one of those nights where you'd have ended up just drinking all the way through until the start of the match.
Yeah, so I'm like, no, I'm being sensible. I'm going back to bed. I'm going to the room and I'm going to wake up and watch the game. So yeah, I could have done without the early kickoff, but I'm good. How are you, mate?
I'm pretty good, actually, all things considered. I think, as you could probably tell from when we recorded, although I had a feeling we might play really defensively and sneak a win, actually was super impressed with the performance on Wednesday. I think squad depth in the end let us down. I don't think that when we made subs, the level dropped significantly in the roles that we brought on, and which is a shame. But yeah, a lot to be optimistic about for the season from that. I think we gave them a really, really good game. Even Luis Enrique after the game said,
I was about to say that.
We probably didn't deserve to win that, but that's football.
Yeah, absolutely. And I didn't know until they got the first goal that it went straight to penalty. I thought it went to extra time. Had it gone to extra time, I think we might have lost anyway.
Yeah.
The drop off. Straight to pens. I mean, also, like I was talking about this offline, we only had 26% of the ball. It seemed a lot more than that. But we didn't have much of the ball. And I think, let me just get this right, I'm confident our completed passes was under 200. And theirs, I guess it's all about where it all was, right? It was all in front of us a lot of the time. But still, pretty nuts. Like, here we go, 136 accurate passes versus their 519.
We made them count, though.
Yeah.
I think but the thing was as well, that they ended up having to pass it around a lot because the press was really effective. There were times they started attacking and then they ended up back in their own half, playing it around the back again, trying to find a way through. I think we were pretty resolute. I think that's the thing as well, was that the players that started the match put such a shift in that they were really, really tired. And which is why they needed fresh legs on it. But it's just unfortunate that the performance didn't match the freshness of the legs, which was a real shame.
A player that jumped out to me, and ironically, he started the game pretty poorly, but Richarlison I thought was excellent again. I thought he had really good game.
I think, honestly, think it was one of the best performances in a top shirt. One of my frustrations with him, apart from the consistent injury, not playing 3 matches in a row thing, is he goes down way too easily. He plays for fouls all the time. And there's times where I think he was in a much better position to take the ball, take the player on, and get a shot off at goal when he's tried to play for the free kick. And he was much more effective, I thought, as a 9 this time. I think that playing with Kudus as well, blimey, that guy's something, isn't he?
Well, he seems.
I was really impressed.
He's strong. He's got a kind of low centre of gravity.
And because we obviously didn't have a lot of players up the pitch, it gave us time to get players up in support because he could hold the ball up. And then you could see like Richarlison running off of him. Just really, really happy. I mean, even when you think, well, we were 2 up and we'd hit the post as well. So man, that's why in the end, right, it hurt not to win it because they played so well, they deserved something from it.
I messaged you after I was reflecting on it during the day. Obviously, I had all day meetings in Sydney, and then I was like, having a beer with a colleague, and he's actually a Stoke fan, good bloke, and we were just talking about football, and he hadn't seen it. But I kind of said to him, I'm a bit gutted now, like, I wasn't that fussed about it, but then when you're that close to winning it...
exactly.
It would have been really
exactly.
nice.
And I think we're all just hoping that we wouldn't embarrass ourselves, but we're far from that. I thought we put up an absolute... we matched them on the night. They didn't beat us in 90 minutes, did they?
Correct. I've got to give a shout out to Van der Ven, because... I was really happy for him scoring. He's a large reason why we're in that game. His clearance off the line.
Exactly. Interesting, both our goals came from centre-backs as well.
Yeah.
I think there's something to be said, and I sent you video from, is it Andreas Georgiou? I think that's his name. I've probably got it completely wrong, but the set-piece coach that we've got.
Yeah.
I sent you, there's a podcast of him talking about I think it's
Yeah.
when he was still at Malmo as a sporting director. But it's really interesting. And you can already see the attention to detail at set pieces is they look coached at set pieces, which we didn't. I don't think we did that for the last 2 seasons. Danso's missile throwing. We're
That's a
finally seeing
record, isn't
the.
it? He's clearly
I'd almost like to play three at the back purely to have that as an extra
getting in
weapon
the
on the
team.
pitch as well.
Well, what's going to be really interesting, and we'll get to Burnley in a minute in terms of like predictions and stuff, but what's going to be really interesting to me is we're going to learn quite a lot about Frank, comparing the setup that he wanted to deploy against PSG to try and get a result, which almost very much worked. You would assume there's going to be a very different approach to Burnley. We're at home. You'd expect us to have more of the ball. You probably wouldn't need three at the back. You're not going to probably need two holders in Polinia and Bentancur and Sarr. So I'd be interested to see what he does there.
They're likely to set up far more defensively against us, aren't they, than PSG
Correct.
are? Which
Yeah.
means we'll need more to try and break them down. And again, that's the one thing about the inactivity in the transfer market. Again, I mean, Kudus is great, but he's literally our only creative outlet at the moment. Everyone else is, if we
Think
can, we can give.
Bergvall can be used there?
I mean,
Like from what you've seen,
he didn't look great when he came
he didn't touch
on
the ball, did
Wednesday. It's just not really his, and it's almost a bit like with Archie Gray. Archie Gray didn't do that great either, but he's looked better in pre-season when he's played in a more like an 8 rather than a 6. And
Yeah.
I'm wondering whether that's getting around with the ball and driving forwards with the ball, a bit like Bergvall really. So that maybe they're competing for the same spot on the bench eventually or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Palhinha's definitely going to start. Obviously, he'll be the one, and then we'll play like.
Just a note on Sarr. God, he looks good. Like he just looks playing different levels.
Yeah, hold on a minute. My maths failed me there. Bless you.
Sneezing.
Definitely not 4-1-3-1 because we'd be, as assuming we've had someone sent off.
Yeah.
Maybe like a 4-1-4-1 or something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
But I see no reason why Sarr doesn't play a major part this season, and it could be a fact of he's one in the midfield that's always there. Just because his performances, like since
been
the Europa League final,
excellent.
he's been excellent. Like
Yeah.
he's
Every
everywhere.
game he's played in, he's been a standout performer. And like
Yeah.
again on Wednesday, he was excellent as well. I was very
Yeah.
impressed with him again.
Unfortunately, we can't really talk about the penalties in the game without the mention of, and I don't know what was said, but Tell has received.
Yeah, I
some-
didn't see any of it, which I'm almost pleased about. But the fact that our own fans, so-called fans, would racially abuse him after that. I mean, whatever you think about him as a footballer, that's just unacceptable.
just
As far as
park
I'm
it.
concerned,
This is
it's just
it.
bullshit.
And, I mean, it was a crap penalty, but plenty of people have took crap penalties, right? You don't need. Yeah, it's just absolute
Yeah.
nonsense.
Yeah,
But
I think he
yeah,
tried to be too clever, didn't he?
He did
in the run-up.
Hopefully, I was reading Thomas Frank, some snippets from Frank's press conference that.
Yeah, I
hopefully
watched it earlier.
Yeah, that he gets a good reception from the actual fans
Yeah.
in the stadium.
I think he will as well. I think he will.
Yeah. Also, a player we haven't mentioned, Jed Spence.
Oh, he was-
I said to my mates here, I reckon he might be at the World Cup. If he stays fit, there's no reason why he shouldn't be in that squad.
We're really struggling with left back for England,
Yeah.
right? And I know he probably doesn't want to play there, but all of his best performances for us have come on the left, not on the
Yeah.
right.
He was
And
excellent.
I was really worried because I thought he really wasn't good on the previous week on Thursday against Bayern. He got Coman had him on toast like the whole game. He was round the outside of him every time. But this match, it got absolutely no one got round him, and also he was an attacking threat as well. He was able to get forward and support in attack.
Thing is, though, right, it does just show you, doesn't it? Pre-season is pre-season. We just looked at a different level. Like when it's notched up and it's suddenly this is competitive football. They just find another gear, don't they? You know, and you can notice that with a lot of the players. Like this,
And there was I liked the things that we carried over from last season, like the kind of huddle before the match.
Yes.
Vicario, Romero seems to have carried that on, and I thought there was a couple of times he got involved in something he didn't need to get involved in, and I thought, well, you're supposed to be a captain and lead by example. You got to rein that in a little bit.
I have fear in a major Champions League game or something that he's going to do that and get sent off.
Yeah,
He seems to get dragged into stuff, and he's always got something to say.
yeah. Richarlison's the same though. Like they've always got. I suppose there's a competitive spirit in them that won't let anything go. But I don't know. It was got to be careful, especially if you're the captain, then you've got to show a good example.
Well, I'll do a quick pivot. Considering we're speaking about South American players, Eric Lamela has retired. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, he's 33 though, right?
Yeah,
He's a good age,
33. You think?
and he's had a lot of injuries in his career as well. Bless him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was fortunate enough to meet Eric Lamela when they were playing in Denver years and years ago, and he's a nice bloke, really nice guy actually. So yeah, he's ironically under Ange and probably in this system, he probably would have thrived in terms of what you would ask of him. Like he'd
yeah,
run and run and run and be a bit of a cunt. Like,
yeah,
that's basically the role.
yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah.
well,
Yeah. That's I mean, he's crammed a lot into his career. I guess he's played a lot of football, and
yeah,
I
indeed.
just unfortunate not to win anything with us. He did win. He won something in Spain, didn't he? Didn't they
He
win
went and well, he won the Europa League
Europa
with
Europa League? Yeah,
Sevilla, wasn't it? Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
So
But
yeah, good for him.
well, talking about ex-Spurs players, we've got Burnley at home. You're not going.
No,
You've got some
family
birthday commitments. Or...
family birthdays tomorrow. It's my mother-in-law's birthday and
Right.
my daughter's boyfriend as well. We're having a family barbecue. Everyone's coming round, which will be nice. I'm looking forward to it. But
So will the barbecue clash with the game in the sense it's not on TV, right?
we're starting to eat early, and I'm hoping that we'll be done or I'm just going to record it and I'll watch it later in the day.
Yeah, yeah,
Just that I think I'd like to start the season off with not falling out with my wife, because
yeah.
at some point I might need to call in a couple of favours for other matches. So you pick your battles,
Well,
right?
I
Bless
was
her.
just saying to Lindsay, it's
She's
funny
long
as
suffering, isn't she, for all the football I go to?
same as Lindsay. I was just sharing with Linz. So I was like, oh, I'm going to record a podcast, and she was like, "Oh, right, all good." And then I was like, "We need to do it now because obviously the game's tonight." And she said, "Oh, what time?" And I was like, midnight for me here." She goes, "You're going to watch it live?" And I don't know. It's always because that means about 2:30 in the morning bedtime.
Yeah.
So it's such a fine balance because then I just know it kind of just writes off Sunday, and then I'm a bit unproductive in the morning. I'll see. I might stay up, but then the following one, which we're covering in another episode, but Man City away is 9:30 p.m. for me, which is great. So that's a great kickoff time.
So,
But
is that a lunchtime kickoff
12:30.
for us then?
Yeah, it's 12:30, so it's lunchtime.
Great.
Yeah.
Nice.
So well, anyway, back to the actual game and not our viewing experiences. We've got a few ex-Spurs to welcome back. Got obviously Marcus Edwards and
Yes.
Cole Walker.
Yeah.
You would expect a good reception. Marcus Edwards kind of had us on toast when we played him in Champions League on Conte,
Yeah.
isn't it?
He scored, didn't he, against us?
He did. He
Did he
did.
score two in that match? I can't remember now. Might have scored
He
a
definitely
brace.
scored one, and I think he had an
Yeah.
assist. But anyway, like,
And there's
he's-
some other familiar names as well that they've signed 13 players this summer.
they've gone a bit under the radar with that, haven't they? Because Sunderland are getting all of the stuff saying, "Oh, they made signed," but yeah,
So like, including like Ugokchukwu, the guy, as another Chelsea player, another one of the
yeah,
Chelsea stable.
Broja.
Broja as well.
yeah.
Marcus Edwards, Cole Walker, they're the kind of notable ones. There's a bunch of others, like there's another 9 on top of that, including who's the goalkeeper from Newcastle?
Who had they?
Forget
Oh,
now.
they
I had it
signed.
up.
Oh,
I was looking at it
Pope.
earlier.
No, Pope's still
No.
there. David Pope.
Da-da-da-da-da. Dubravka,
Oh, yeah. Dubravka, yeah.
Jacob Larsson, Luma Chouna, is it from Lazio?
Well, and
They spent
also,
quite a lot of money, and it's like
they spent a lot of money, and then they're
they're not.
complete opposite to what they were under Company in terms of the type of football they play under Parker.
Yeah.
They conceded very little goals last
That
season.
was
didn't
their
they?
strength last season was that they had a very very tight defence.
Yeah.
And I think that the problem they've got has shown itself in pre-season from what I've seen and read, that they've struggled to score goals in pre-season. So I can expect that if they're going to score low this season, they're going to probably set up to frustrate teams like us, aren't they?
I think
Which is
so.
my worry with our lack of creativity at the moment, is that we might have a very frustrating match.
So you've got Marcus Edwards, Kyle Walker, and then obviously the manager Scotty Parker all coming back to
Yeah.
Spurs. We touched on it a little bit ago about like what we think Frank's going to do, but like, what team do you reckon he picks then? Like, do you think it'll be a flat back four then? It'll be Van der Ven,
I think
Romero,
it'll be a 4.
Porro, Spence.
Probably a
The mid-
4-2-3-1.
The midfield where it gets interesting, right? Because I think Sarr has to play, but that means one of Polinia or Bentancur maybe doesn't play, and you would assume Polinia plays. Like
Yeah.
he's been signed to play,
Yeah.
so that leaves Bentancur maybe on the bench. Then you've obviously got Kudus. Does Kudus play in the middle, or does he push Sarr further
Unless he
forward
plays
and does play
Bentancur as a
Bentancur?
10,
Yeah. Or he could
maybe.
play
And then,
Sarr as a 10 and put Bentancur alongside
yeah.
Polinia.
I don't think Sar's too valuable with the running. I think
Yeah.
he covers more grass, and we need someone as a 10 who's going to be more closer to the striker and the wide players. So
And then Solanke got some minutes against PSG.
yeah, but he didn't look ready, did he? When he came on, he looked well short of the pace, which is the other reason that because we'd been so aggressive in the press, right from the front, Richarlison as well included, had exhausted himself in the end because he was really
Yeah.
pressing high, and then you could see the drop off when that happened. So they had more time on the ball and they played through us a lot easier.
Yeah, I mean,
I hope he's fit enough. Maybe it's good that he starts this game and Richarlison doesn't, because again, we know Richarlison probably needs to be managed, mostly because we know how easily he's been injured in the past. We don't really want that if we can avoid
yeah,
it.
yeah. Interestingly, Vuskovic was on the bench for Super Cup, and I thought he'd been loaned out.
There's talk about him going to Hamburg, isn't there? I think.
Yeah. But
maybe
interestingly, you include him in the squad. I'd love to see him utilised because I think you can play him in a few different areas of the pitch. Like,
I think that
his
I
ability.
think the problem is that they clearly don't think he's ready, because we'll come on to transfer rumours today where there's talk about us buying Hincapi, who's a left centre back from Leverkusen, right? And if we're buying another, we would consider first team squad centre back. We'll have Dragusin, Danso, Van der Ven, Romero. And that's before we get to any of the younger players like Phillips and Vuskovic and the other one who's up in Scotland.
Yeah.
Dorrington. Yeah.
Dorrington, Alfie Dorrington.
So yeah, it's. I think though, I don't know whether Hincapi can play on the left. Maybe that's what they're thinking, as he can play left centre, and maybe Van der Ven could play as a left if needed at some point in an emergency. Really,
certainly, all respect in the world to Ben Davies, who's been an amazing servant, and we didn't even mention him, right? Because he can play in the centre back position.
Yeah,
but you'd certainly, if Spencer's injured and Udoggy's injured, you'd rather Van der Ven for his pace to be at the left-sided spot over Ben Davies. So maybe that's.
I think so.
Yeah, but
it's interesting, right? That's going to be a 50 mil centre back signing, right? So is that really a priority compared to?
Yeah. Well,
it's just that I can't keep saying it. It's like we are going into the start. We're starting the season, so good for Levy. He's not had to pay any salaries for new players over the summer, because we know he hates paying money for players to sit around and enjoy their summer. I just got this feeling that plays into it somehow, whether it's consciously or subconsciously. The reason we do our business so late is not because it's difficult, because everyone else seems to manage to do it much sooner. Just that we're not willing to pay the market rate for players, and that we've heard all kinds of stories. I think I heard Simon Jordan was talking about how I can't remember which player it was. It was that young player we bought from Palace who never really made it in the first team, who ended up playing in Belgium. Bostock. It was Bostock. He's like, he kept coming back with increments of 50k.
Well, it went to a tribunal, didn't it?
He did in the end, yeah. So like, he's just infuriating to deal with. What frustrates me is that Eze's release clause, which apparently runs out today. Sorry, we're moving on to transfers.
No, that's what we wanted to do. Yeah,
it runs out today. His transfer release fee runs out, 67 million. Right, so we were willing to pay 60 million for Morgan Gibbs-White, and yet we're arguing the toss over the 7 million difference to get him. We could have had him last week or the week before. If we'd have paid 67 million, he'd have been there, he'd have been training with us, and he'd been ready for a match tomorrow. Now, even if we signed him tomorrow, or he's not going to be ready till the following weekend, so we already missed the first game of the season and the Super Cup, where we could have had a player who could have made a difference. Might have been the difference between, 2-2 at full time and 3-2 or whatever. Even if we've got a strategy, it's wrong. I'm okay with the players they're choosing, but if they're really the players that we want, I think the damage that's done to the club and to the team and the preparation of the team, and for Frank to work with those players is worth is more damaging than the spending the money. And it's not. We're not talking about the. We're talking about the difference probably between selling one of the youngsters. Will probably cover the difference, right? So 7 million. It's nothing in modern football.
Whilst I don't disagree with any of that, I do have another theory as well, in a very subjective nature of current climate. I think the signing of Eze is as much to do with the outs, like in terms of the ones we've got to get out the door, not because we need to sell them to fund it. I wonder if there's talk of an Eze bid of 60 million or 50 million plus Basuma or plus somebody else as a mate weight.
So I'm
Because
hearing
they
that
need players who
Roma.
don't have Palace.
I'm hearing that Roma and some of the Turkish clubs are interested in Basuma.
Right. Okay.
So
So I
there's
mean,
there's interest. Again, I don't. Again,
the
but
frustrating thing,
again, just as much as the problem we've got getting players in, we're not getting rid of the players quick enough either, are we?
well, yeah, there is that. Absolutely. But then with getting rid of players, I guess you're always, whoever the club is, as is being proven with Isak, you're subject to behaviour, agents, where do they want to go, who do they want to go to, pricing them correctly. I think there's often more at play with trying to get rid of players. But you're right, like there's so many, because that squad.
It's frustrating though, because you look at, I don't know how Chelsea do it, right? They've got players that are on massive salaries, on very long contracts, and yet they're managing to ship them on at reasonable prices. And most of them haven't even played in the Premier League. They've come in, they've been in their stable, maybe gone to Strasbourg for a season or if that, and they're moving on for at least. They're not losing money. They're kind of selling them for what they bought them for, basically. So all they've really paid is the salary for the period they were there. I don't understand why everyone else makes it look a lot easier than we do. And again, maybe you're right. Maybe it is just that our valuations of the players are unrealistic.
Sure.
That they're better than we think they are.
But everything
not us,
I'm reading,
but the management think that they're better than.
but everything I'm reading, I don't know what the quotes are, but apparently Pep Guardiola's made some quotes which basically indicates Savinho's coming to us. If we can get the,
We just need to match.
feet.
70 million euros, apparently, whatever that is, in 60 something.
Yeah,
We've offered.
the player wants it apparently because World Cup year.
Yeah, and he'll play more for us.
Correct.
He'll be first choice, won't he? If he's playing on the left, he'll be first choice. He's
And
basically
maybe-
our Son replacement.
But yeah, and maybe because I was a bit befuddled that we didn't go for Grealish, right, in that kind of a move, which Everton did. But maybe we looked at Grealish as, oh well, if we can get Savinho, longer term investment, who knows? But
Yeah.
apparently, it's the same with Eze. Eze wants the move. I mean, it'd be
This is the
interesting to
frustration.
see.
Right? There's a market value for the player,
Yeah.
and it's not like double what you think he's worth. It's within an order of magnitude that would be reasonable. If we pay 67 million for him, I don't think we're overpaying. Same with Savinho. Someone said to me today, what's he done to warrant him being worth twice what they paid for him last year? I said, well, he played 30 games, 8 assists and a goal. And he didn't play 29 full matches either. He did a lot of that as a substitute as well. So, there's definitely something in there. And Pep doesn't want to lose him. He really doesn't. He likes him and he wants to keep him. But he just wants more game time than he's willing to offer him. So,
I think he had
weird.
I think he had 46 goal involvement, or what was it? There was some number which was quite high, whilst it wasn't assists. Yeah, 46 chances created. That's 46 chances created across his games without starting every week, right?
Yeah.
If you multiply those minutes of games that you turn in those 60-minute games or 20-minute games to full 90s, what does that go up to? Chances created is probably closer in the 80s or 90s. Then you're talking in the realm of a Salah.
He's also someone who's not afraid to take on a player. This is exactly what Frank wants, right? We're basically switching out our wingers for players who it's how he wants us to play. And I think that was one of the problems with Ange. I think Ange probably wanted this as well, but he never really got the ones he wanted.
Yeah, well, and just to compare...
Because Brendan Johnson's not... I saw him quoted as saying that he wants to work on his one-on-ones, like taking players on. I'm like, well, that's good, but you were a £40 million signing.
Yeah.
So we weren't buying potential at that kind of price, right? You were a proven Premier League player. If you can't do that, then we probably made a terrible mistake buying you. because it doesn't
Well,
fit the way we play.
yeah, and then just going back to that stat about Savinho, and I pulled up Salah's just for a comparison, right? It's fair to say Salah would have started every game. 89 chances created, right? So it's double. So
Yeah.
it's not double because Savinho played every game from the start. It's double because Savinho was a bit part, but did play a lot of games. So I think to quote your mate on what he's on, well, what's he done to be worth that? Well, that. I mean, if
Yeah.
you're going to get that output, right? You would
He's a
expect.
young player that you're getting him for,
Yeah.
assuming you can keep hold of him for 5 years. You're going to get a 5 or 6 year contract, and he's going to be
Well,
at his peak.
on the
You're going to get
Eze,
him at his peak.
correct. And on the Eze deal, apparently there's a part where QPR, we're trying to sweeten the deal more so to get QPR more money, is something I read. Like they can end up with 10 mil or not 5 mil or something. I don't know. I don't know how it works.
I guess it
but
depends on how it's paid, maybe.
yeah, I think that's what it is. It's the payment structure. But apparently, if they do a deal with us, we will structure QPR more money now than how it's
It's probably we will pay off they've got a percentage
Yeah,
sell-on fee or something, and
yeah,
we'll.
yeah, yeah.
It sounds complicated. I wish it wasn't. I
It'd
just
be a
wa-
football term.
I just wanted us to have closed a couple of these deals this week. So even if they weren't ready
My,
for Burnley, at
my
least we
hope
go
was
into Burnley knowing that the squad's been bolstered and we've got that to look
my
forward
hope
to.
is, and maybe it will happen, is Eze and Savinho are in the stadium on Saturday and they're spotted and it's done.
I'm not optimistic. I'm still watching all the social media feeds to see if anything changes.
Well, when do Palace play? Do they play same kickoff as us? Are they a Saturday? Let me have a look. Because it will be telling if he's not in the squad, right? That will tell us a lot.
Yeah,
They play Chelsea.
he's been training on his own, right?
Yeah, so they play Chelsea PM on Sunday. So, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Well, just going back to the Burnley game, what we didn't do is put a little prediction on it. I actually think, I've got a feeling we'll win like 3 or 4-1. I think once we get one goal, more will come. Couldn't tell you who's going to score, but I do think we'll have too much for them. And it would be nice to start the season in a manner like that. And also, we've got City next, so we need to bloody start well.
A bit of confidence will be good, yeah.
Yeah, but after that PSG performance, I see no reason why we won't play well. But we know how it goes with Spurs. You never know what you might get.
Well,
But I think we're seeing a manager who's willing to change things up.
yeah, I can see a win. I don't think we'll concede. I think we'll have a clean sheet.
Yeah, we do look strong back, don't
I
we?
don't think it'll be a very high scoring match, so maybe 1 or 2. So maybe say 2-0. But I think it will be later in the match. Eventually we'll wear them down, but I think they'll be fairly resolute and they'll defend for the first half. Really tough. It'll be quite tough to break them down because
You're not selling me on this to stay up until midnight and watch it.
I'm not. So at least I know if I've recorded it. If it's really shit, I can whiz through the bad bits.
Yeah, indeed. If Danzo doesn't play, who was second in the awards for longest throw?
This is the question. Now we shall find out if it's still necessary for us to use it as a weapon in the match for sure.
No, indeed. Well, for the first part of this season, of course, we've only really got Premier League because Champions League doesn't get going until the second week of September. So we
have we got another stupid international break coming up? That happened last year, didn't it? Like we started the season and then 2 weeks later we had an international break, something ridiculous like that.
When do England play? Actually, that's a good. Yeah. September 7th.
That's ridiculous. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So it is again. It's 2 weeks. 2 weeks into the season. So we play 2 games and then it's
frustrating.
I think UEFA needs to sort themselves out.
I've always said I think there's an argument with qualifiers for a tournament. If you're in a summer like we would have been this summer, where there isn't a major tournament, play a chunk of your qualifiers. Then just get them knocked out in a 2 week period.
Yeah, a bit like they do with the. Is it the Nations League where they have that like they do like four games? Is it like two semi-finals and a final or something like that? I don't know, something like that.
Just get a large chunk of it out of the way, and then you've only got. But then we're playing Wales in a friendly in October. Why?
And then, but also they've screwed the summer up this year with the Club World Cup. So that's another summer disappeared off the calendar that we could use for something.
Yeah. No,
so
indeed.
I have another rant to have, which is
go.
and we've covered it before, but I want to cover it again, which is the 3 o'clock blackout in the UK for televising matches will be in effect. So for the first match of the season, nobody will be able to watch Tottenham play on television in the UK legally.
Legally, it just drives a black market.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So it's insane. I would pay if it was pay-per-view even, or it was included in the package, and I had to pay an extra a pound a month. I'd do it. I would.
The challenge you've got is that's how. So Spain runs a model where the club owns the TV rights, and then they can do that, right? And they do that. Whereas that's just not something the UK has ever done. And it all goes back to if you're able to watch Spurs at home legally and you're paying your £5 or £2 or whatever it is, then their view is then you're less inclined to go and watch Barnet play at 3 p.m. because you're sat at home watching Tottenham on TV legally. So the blackout.
I mean, it's a nice sentiment, right? But and maybe I mean, used to do it myself. Like I used to go and watch Leyton Orient a lot when Spurs weren't playing, and even when they were, sometimes when I couldn't get a ticket.
Well, sometimes it might be a better watch Leyton Orient than some of the shit we've had.
It was entertaining. EastEnders. So, but yeah, I think it's 2025.
Yeah.
Football's changed, right? And even if if everyone in the UK who's a Tottenham supporter watched it at home, that stadium would still be full. It would be full of tourists, right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
maybe that would affect the atmosphere, but then no one seems to care about the rest of the supporters the rest of the time, right? So it's weird.
Look, there's certainly something.
They're quite happy. Sorry, I'm in full rant. They're quite happy to put matches on at ridiculous fucking times, like 7:30 on a Saturday in Newcastle, and there's no train back after the match, or on a Sunday night.
Case in point, Bournemouth just went all the way up to Liverpool on a Friday night, right?
Yeah,
so
there's no way you get there without leaving work early, right?
Correct. So you got people not. So yeah, I agree with you completely. Like, when did we pivot to Friday night being a time we play football? I mean, it's stupid.
I mean, Monday was a stretch. And it's still, I don't like Monday night games. Don't like going to them. Last one I went to was the Forest one last season. Was it last season?
Yeah.
And that was the one where the trains were busted. It was a bank holiday Monday, and I had to walk 5 miles to get an Uber. But that's not the reason I hate it. I just don't like Monday night games.
There's certainly something that needs to be looked at because you're driving a black market as well. It comes with risk, like. It's just make it legal, like make it easy. It's ridiculous because I'm sure you'll find a way, as many others do. And the feed's there, right? Because the live feed goes out to other countries. We don't have a blackout here. Yeah. Every game is live. Every game is live.
Work with companies elsewhere in Europe who all have English Premier League, and they have every single match. So like, one of my customers is Vodafone, and so I've got a Portuguese set-top box that has English Premier League on it. And there are lots of others where, it's commonplace. Like when I lived in the Netherlands, all of the cable operators, you had access to every single English Premier League match. So like, it's just bizarre.
I think it's interesting because we're not alone in that outlook, because I know the AFL here has very similar things with blackout and like geographical rules with what games they show and why.
And it happens in the US as well, right? For NFL, there's like geo-blocking for like I think it's weird, don't they do something weird like you can't watch it, for instance, if you're in Denver you can't watch the Broncos on TV if they're playing at home unless all the tickets are sold, and then they drop the block, which I guess is fair, but I don't know,
it's a fair comment, mate. It's not lost on me.
And it's also like that. It's even if you're Tottenham supporters, right? That there is a geography around Tottenham that means it's reasonable to get to a match. Like anything under 2 to 3 hours is probably, most people would do that to go to a match. But if you're a Scottish Tottenham supporter, or you're in Northern Ireland or Wales, you're talking about a complete day out, and you can't do that Well, I know there are some people that do it every match, but it's price prohibitive for them to do that. So why not give them access to the match remotely, legally? It doesn't make sense to me.
No, I don't disagree. Yeah. So with all of that said, you're going to find a way this weekend.
Maybe. Depends who's asking. So yeah, I think there's been talk of the Premier League looking at running their own streaming service. to kind of like Netflix of football.
But they get pushback from the lower leagues as soon as they try and do that. And the only way I think that's
When was the last time the Premier League gave a shit about the lower leagues?
No. Agreed. But
The
what I'm
FA
going
might,
with is,
but yeah.
when this is where I'm going with this. Like, if they do that, there will be pushback. But then there's an opportunity for said pushback to turn into a win for the clubs like a Morecambe who've just been rescued, or others that are going out of business. Have some of the profit from that kind of a model drop down to those teams. Like, have them share a bit of the pie, right? Because
also,
in today's world, clubs should not be going out of business.
But what you could almost say is, right, that Premier League clubs effectively fund the creation of the service and run it at a profit. You could almost host all of the league games, so from the EFL games, on it as well for virtually nothing.
Well, they do that here.
The infrastructure. I know that there's always like incremental cost, obviously, but you could they could just run it all on a single platform.
My mate's a Derby County fan, and he uses a platform. I think it's called iFollow, and he pays.
Yeah.
I think he paid like a few dollars, and he says it's funny because sometimes you'll pay for the game, but you won't have commentary, but you get the game.
What was it? I think that's all the. I think I watched a game with a friend of mine who's a Reading fan around his house, and we watched it. But
so they're all
big.
made.
It was quite big during lockdown.
Well, and don't even get me started on that. They found a way during lockdown as well, didn't they? Because there were games on there were Premier League games on BBC on free to air. So they're willing to do it when they want to do it.
When it suits them.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Always when it suits them, not the supporters.
Indeed.
Anyway, sorry, rant over.
Well, I'm very much looking forward to Premier League being back. It is back. We've had Liverpool play.
Yeah, a decent match by the sound of it. I didn't watch it.
My fantasy team's done quite well out of that game, so I'll watch the highlights later on. And then we've got the early game here, which I think Villa are playing lunchtime game in England, aren't they? Is it Villa? Or I know there's a game at 9:30 for me. Yeah, Villa Newcastle. So it might be a good game.
That'd be a decent match. Yeah.
So if I watch that, then I've only got about half hour to stay up, and then the Tottenham game's on, and then it's like, I may as well watch it. I'll see how I go. Yeah. Indeed. But no, nothing more from me. Good to have competitive football back. Good to see Spurs looking so good against PSG. So I'm feeling very optimistic. So with that said, as always from me, come on you Spurs.
Thanks to everyone who's listened in. Please like and subscribe to the podcast to tickle the algorithm so we can get in front of more Tottenham supporters. And to close us out, come on you Spurs.
Let me be the one that you turn to, someone you can rely on, closer each day, home and away.